Everyone keeps telling me that modern horror sucks, and yeah, most of it does. But I've spent most of my life watching thousands of horror movies, and I have found tons of films that are genuinely terrifying, and somehow most people don't even talk about them. All they're talking about are Hereditary and Midsommar, but these are horror movies you haven't seen that are genuinely, actually, utterly, disturbingly terrifying. So, let's start with the lost footage of Leah Sullivan, which sounds like every other found footage movie until you actually watch it. Leah's this journalism student who thinks she's gonna crack a decades-old murder case for a school project. Very ambitious, very stupid, Leah. What are you doing? The Mulkey family got butchered in their house years ago, and nobody ever figured out who did it. Leah decides she's the one who's gonna solve it because apparently she has watched too many true crime documentaries. She interviews people around town, talks to cops, and does all of the investigative stuff that makes you feel smart. Here's where it gets good though. The house where the murders happened is still standing. It's empty, rotting, and guess what Leah decides to do? She goes in there at night with just her camera, because that's what rational people do when investigating unsolved murders. Oh, Leah, what are you doing? The scary part isn't jump scares or some demon popping out. Pure dread building up as she walks through this dead house. Every creak sounds wrong. Every shadow looks like it's moving. You start feeling like you're right there with her, sneaking around with nothing but a camera light. What makes this movie work is that it feels real. The acting doesn't suck, yet it is such a low-budget movie. Leah acts like an actual person would, not some horror movie character making terrible choices just to move the plot forward. Well, I mean, she still makes terrible choices, but they feel like choices a real dumb, curious student would make. Also, if you didn't know, the cop in this movie that she ends up dating in the film is the person she was dating at the time of filming the movie. So all of their chemistry seems real because it actually is, and that just makes the acting so much better. The ending is what gets people talking though. Something happens to Leah in that house. The camera goes crazy. She screams, then nothing. We see some horrifying stuff, but it's quick and chaotic. You never really know what got her. Was it a ghost? Was it the thing that appeared behind her? Was it some psycho who's been hiding in the house this entire time? A cult? You're never gonna know. That's what makes it scary. Your brain keeps trying to figure out what happened long after the movie ends. You're gonna be lying in bed thinking about it after watching it. Trust me on that one. But religious mania beats student filmmaking for pure psychological terror. Let's talk about Saint Maud. Saint Maud takes religious obsession and cranks it up until your skin starts crawling. Maud's this hospice nurse who recently found God, and boy, did she find him hard. She has a very unhealthy relationship with God, let's just put it that way. She's been drinking a little bit too much church wine. She's convinced that God talks to her personally and gives her missions. And the main mission? Save the soul of Amanda, her dying patient. Now, Amanda's not interested in being saved. She's a former dancer who's lived a wild life. She's pretty much fine with going out on her own terms. But Maud doesn't care what Amanda wants. God told her to do this, so that is what's happening. The whole movie stays locked inside Maud's head. You see everything through her eyes, hear the voices she hears, and feel what she feels. Problem is, you can never tell if God is actually talking to her or if she's just losing her mind. Literally, she might be schizophrenic or something like that. She is losing her mind in some way, or God is a cruel God. But that uncertainty keeps you on edge the entire time. Maud starts small with the religious devotion, praying a lot, reading scripture, normal church stuff. Then it gets weird. She puts nails in her shoes so walking hurts because suffering brings you closer to God apparently. She starts seeing signs everywhere. Every little thing becomes a message from above. Listen, Maud, I don't think the big man upstairs is making you do this. I think you are genuinely crazy. The movie builds this suffocating tension where you know something terrible is gonna happen, but you don't know what. Maud gets more and more unhinged, but she thinks she's getting holier. Amanda gets sicker, but keeps rejecting Maud's help. It's this slow spiral that makes you squirm in your seat. What really gets under people's skin is how real Maud's delusion feels. We all know someone who got a little bit too into religion after not being religious at all. Maybe not nail in the shoes level, but close enough that watching Maud feels uncomfortably familiar. The ending is brutal. I won't spoil it, but there's one frame at the very end that completely changes everything you just watched. People talk about that single frame for months after seeing it. It's the kind of image that pops into your head at random times and ruins your whole day. The movie asks a simple question: when does faith become madness? Turns out the answer is scarier than you think. But at least churches have walls. That's not something Swedish forests offer you though. The ritual proves that going camping with your friends is a terrible idea. Never go camping with your friends, because this will happen, especially when one of you gets hurt and someone suggests taking a shortcut through the woods. 4 guys go camping in Sweden to honor their dead friend, and honestly, their dead friend probably would have told them that this was a stupid idea. Everything starts normal enough. Guys being guys, making jokes, trying not to talk about their feelings, because that's what us men do. Then Luke injures his knee and they decide to cut through this untouched forest instead of sticking to the marked trail, because when has leaving the marked trail ever gone wrong in a horror movie? The forest itself becomes the first scary thing. There's no jump scares, it's just this oppressive feeling that something's watching. Foreshadowing! The trees look wrong. There are weird symbols carved into them, and they find a gutted animal hanging in the branches, which is nature's way of saying, maybe turn the f*** around. Do they turn around? Of course not. They are men. We're not backing down from a forest. Anyways, they find this abandoned cabin and decide to spend the night inside. The cabin has this creepy wooden figure with antlers for hands. Instead of running, they're like, well, this seems fine. It was not fine. That's when the nightmares start. Each guy gets hit with these horrible dreams about their worst fears and guilt. Luke keeps reliving their night their friend died because he froze up during a robbery. The thing hunting them knows exactly how to mess with their heads. The creature in this movie is genuinely terrifying when you finally see it. It's this massive elk-deer hybrid with a human torso grafted on top. That sounds ridiculous, but when it shows up on screen, you'll understand why people say they can't go camping anymore. What makes the ritual work so well is how it mixes guilt and grief with the straight-up monster horror. These guys are dealing with losing their friend, and now they might join him. The Swedish wilderness looks beautiful until you realize how easy it would be to disappear out there. By the end, you'll never look at hiking trails the same way. Every forest will seem like it's hiding something ancient and hungry. The forest monsters are pretty bad, but what if we added a live internet audience? So, Chupacabro, you mean iCarly? Kinda, actually. The Cleansing Hour asks what happens when your fake exorcism show meets a real demon. The answer is chaos on a level that makes reality TV look pretty tame. Max and Drew run this popular live stream where they stage fake possessions for entertainment. Think like Twitch meets The Exorcist, except with more chat donations and less actual holy water. Their whole setup is pretty elaborate for a scam. There's a fake actress, fake demons, fake Latin chanting. They've got millions of viewers who tune in to watch the exorcisms that are about as real as professional wrestling. Yeah, me and your mother need to talk to you. John Cena, he's not a real human being. The money's good, the audience loves it, and nobody actually gets possessed. It's the perfect business model. Just scam your audience for the rest of time. Then one night, the actress they hired doesn't show up. No problem, they grab another girl, strap her into the chair, and start the show. Except this time, something real shows up to the party. An actual demon possesses the girl, and suddenly their fake show becomes the most real thing on the internet for the night. The demon isn't just there to scream and throw things around. It's got a plan. Every person watching the stream makes it stronger. Every share, every comment, every viewer joining in feeds this thing more power. Social media is literally becoming a weapon for this hell. What gets really messed up is how the demon uses their personal secrets against them. It forces everyone on the live stream to confess their worst sins on camera in front of millions of people. Miss a confession, you die. The whole crew becomes trapped in their own studio while the world watches. The practical effects in this movie are incredible. When the demon finally shows its true form, it's all makeup and animatronics. There is no CGI nonsense, just pure nightmare fuel that looks real because it basically is real and sitting there on set. The ending is gonna mess you up. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's just say going viral isn't always a good thing. And sometimes the comment sections is the least of your worries when you're streaming live to hell itself. But on second thought, one demon per movie is pretty manageable. Well, let's now make it 5. VHS 2 throws multiple nightmare scenarios at you because apparently one kind of horror isn't enough for some people. You get zombie outbreaks, alien abductions, cult rituals, and ghost attacks all in one sitting. It's horror for people with short attention spans, which honestly describes most of us these days. The setup is simple. Investigators find a stack of mysterious videotapes and decide to watch them. Smart move, guys. Each tape contains a different horror story shot in found footage style, so you never know if you're about to see someone getting eaten by zombies or abducted by aliens. But here's the thing about anthology horror. Usually half the stories suck and you're just waiting for the good ones. VH2 actually nailed most of them. The zombie story filmed from the zombie's perspective is fun. The alien abduction one will make you paranoid about every weird light in the sky. Then there's Safe Haven. This segment has become legendary in horror circles. A documentary crew infiltrates an Indonesian cult compound thinking they're making a normal expose. Instead, they walk into the most insane bloodbath you'll ever see on film. Mass ending themselves, demon summoning, and a goat creature from hell, all captured on shaky cam while everyone runs for their lives. What makes Safe Haven work is the pacing. It starts slow and normal. There's interviews with the cult leader. It's all the typical documentary stuff. Then someone rings a bell and everything goes completely insane for 15 minutes straight. People are stabbing themselves. The building's on fire. There is a literal demon baby being born, and that is a freaky scene. It is chaos. The practical effects throughout the whole movie are nasty. Realistic blood, realistic guts, realistic goat creature. Yeah, it's freaky. Each story hits a different fear button. So if zombies don't scare you, maybe the alien stuff will. If aliens seem dumb, wait for the cult segment. By the end, you'll feel like you've been through 5 different haunted houses back to back. But now, let's move on to The Void. The Void locks you inside a hospital with cosmic horror and refuses to let you leave. A cop brings a bleeding guy to a nearly empty medical center late at night. Before anyone can figure out what's happening, white-robed cultists surround the building. Nobody gets out, nobody gets help. Just you, some random people, and whatever nightmare is brewing in the basement. Inside the hospital, people start changing into things that shouldn't exist. Tentacles are growing out of faces. Bodies are splitting open to reveal new shapes. This is the kind of stuff that makes you wonder why anyone thought medical school was a good idea. The doctor running this place isn't trying to heal people. He's trying to open a door to some hellish dimension because apparently regular reality wasn't interesting enough for him. Every transformation, every monster, every drop of blood feeds into his ritual to contact things that probably should stay uncontacted. What sets the Void apart is the creature effects. Everything you see is real. Actors wearing actual monster suits, gallons of real fake blood, practical tentacles that physically exist on set. When someone's face peels off, that's not computer graphics. That's makeup and latex doing exactly what it's supposed to, make you sick to your stomach. The whole movie feels trapped. You can't run from the cultists outside, you can't hide from the monsters inside. Every room might contain something worse than the last room. The hospital becomes a maze where every wrong turn leads to more body horror. By the final act, reality starts breaking down completely. Characters have visions of infinite voids filled with triangular shapes, with this overwhelming cosmic imagery that makes them feel tiny and meaningless. The doctor's portal starts working and things get genuinely weird. The Void doesn't really explain everything clearly, which actually makes it scarier. You piece together what's happening in the same way the characters do, terror and confusion. Some people hate that ambiguity, but horror works better when your imagination has to fill in the blanks. When it's over, you'll have images burned into your brain that'll pop up at random times and ruin your day. So yeah, but if cosmic horror isn't your thing, maybe sharks are. Let's talk about Dangerous Animals. Dangerous Animals combines sharks with the serial killer because someone thought regular shark attacks weren't terrifying enough on their own. Now, this seems like another one of those bad shark movies that are like everywhere. This is actually a really good movie. Tucker runs a fake cage diving tour company in Australia, except instead of just showing tourists to some fish, he feeds them to the fish. And those fish? Sharks. Yeah, it's very hands-on customer service. Zafir is this young surfer who gets kidnapped and finds herself chained up on Tucker's boat, watching him dangle another victim over shark-infested waters. The sharks do what sharks do best. It is not pretty. Meanwhile, her friend, her love interest, Moses, is trying to track her down before he becomes the next meal. Jai Courtney plays Tucker, and he's absolutely unhinged in the best way possible. He's not some silent masked killer. This guy talks a lot. He even somehow makes Baby Shark do terrifying.
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark, baby shark.
I am not joking. Anyways, he's chatty and friendly while planning your death, which somehow makes him way more disturbing than your typical slasher villain. What makes this movie work is how it doesn't pick between human threat and animal threat. You're scared of Tucker because he's completely psychotic. You're also scared of the sharks because they're fucking sharks. Having both threats at once keeps you constantly on edge. The shark scenes are brutal and well done. There's no cheap CGI nonsense. There's real practical practical effects mixed with high quality CGI, real fake blood, and real terror when those fins show up in the water. You can almost feel how cold and deep that ocean is just by watching it. The movie knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be anything fancy. Evil guy feeds people to sharks. People fight back, sharks eat some people. It's a simple concept executed really well. Sometimes that is all you need for effective horror. What surprised people is how smart all the characters in the movie act. Zafir and Moses don't make the usual horror movie mistakes that make you yell at the screen. They actually think their way through problems, which makes you root for them instead of getting frustrated. By the end, you're never going to trust a cage diving tour again. You're also probably never going to go swimming in Australian waters, but that's probably just common sense anyways. It's Australia after all. Now, external predators like sharks are scary, up until your own relationship with your partner becomes the monster itself. What do I mean? Well, Together turns relationship problems into literal body horror, because apparently regular breakups weren't traumatic enough. This is one of the best movies that came out this year, and I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it. I feel like this came out so close to Weapons that Weapons just like snubbed all of the hype from this movie. This movie is extremely good. Tim and Millie are moving to the countryside to fix their failing relationship, and it's failing pretty bad. And after falling into a mysterious pit and drinking some gooey water, they start physically fusing together whenever they touch. Yeah, couples therapy is getting weird. This isn't some cute romantic thing where they become closer and their souls become one. When I say fusing, I mean their skin melts together like Play-Doh. Their limbs get tangled up, and at one point they need a rusty saw to separate them. Nothing says relationship power couple goals quite like emergency surgery with power tools. The movie uses this gross concept to explore how relationships can make you lose yourself. Every time they touch, they risk becoming one person instead of two. It's codependency taken to its most disturbing conclusion. You'll watch couples in the theater shifting uncomfortably in their seats because they're afraid this movie is going to make them break up after their date. What makes Together genuinely creepy is how the body horror feels real. The practical effects are disgusting. Seeing two people merge slowly into one writhing mass of flesh hits some deep fear about losing your identity. Plus, the sounds. Oh man, the sounds of skin stretching and bones creaking will stick with you. The film builds tension through weird dreamlike events that make you question what's actually happening. Is this real? Or are they both having some shared psychotic break? The ambiguity keeps you guessing while the gross out moments make you squirm. Alison Brie and Dave Franco did their own stunts for this movie too, which means they spent hours attached to each other in uncomfortable prosthetics. That dedication shows on screen. Their performances feel genuine even when they're literally stuck together. Some couples who saw it said the movie helped them work through their problems. Others weren't couples anymore, and others left traumatized about physical intimacy. The fact that it can trigger such different reactions shows how well it digs into relationship fears that everyone recognizes. Whether you find the ending romantic or horrifying probably says something about your own relationship views. Either way, you'll think twice about holding hands in a dark room with your partner. But relationship body horror is completely tame when it comes to French directors and their obsession with a girl f***ing a car. French director Julia Ducournau made a movie about a woman who gets pregnant by having sex with a car. Somehow, it won Palme d'Or at Cannes. That's the kind of year 2021 was for cinema, apparently. Alexia has a titanium plate in her head from a childhood car accident. Absolutely nothing about why she's sexually attracted to automobiles. Literally, if Lightning McQueen showed up, there'd be a Lightning McQueen Jr. later. But she's also a serial killer, because why not? Who murders people with a hairpin through the ear. But the car pregnancy is somehow the less believable part of her character. After getting knocked up by a Subaru or whatever, Alexia goes on the run and disguises herself as a missing boy. Then a steroid-addicted fire captain takes her in, thinking she's his long-lost son. This man is going to get so traumatized when he realizes that his fake child is secretly pregnant with Lightning McQueen's child. The body horror in this movie is next level. Alexia's pregnant belly splits open and leaks motor oil. She binds herself so tightly to hide the pregnancy that her body starts deforming. At one point, she breaks her own nose at the sink to maintain her disguise. This is insane. People literally fainted watching this in theaters. 13 people passed out at one screening in Sydney, which tells you everything you need to know about how intense it gets. The camera never looks away from anything. Every gross detail is right there for you to absorb. What makes Titane truly disturbing isn't just the gore. It's how the film finds genuine emotion in all the madness. The relationship between Alexia and her fake father becomes surprisingly touching until the end, even though it's built on lies and delusion. You'll find yourself caring about characters while at the same time being horrified by them. The ending involves giving birth to a baby with a metallic spine. Because I don't know, the French you guys are onto something over there. Anyways, car babies sound insane until you meet a movie that questions suffering itself. Martyrs is the movie that ends friendships. Not because it's bad, but because some people think it's a masterpiece and others think it's the most disturbing thing ever put on film. Both groups probably right. This French horror film, oh look, it's the French again! Who could have guessed? Anyways, this French horror film has two completely different halves. The first half plays out like a revenge thriller. Lucy escapes from people who tortured her as a child and then tracks them down years later with her friend Anna to get payback. You know, standard stuff so far. The second half is when things go completely off the rails. Anna gets captured by this secret society that tortures people to make them into martyrs. They believe extreme suffering can give you a glimpse of the afterlife. Their methods for testing this theory are not pleasant. The torture scenes in Martyrs are realistic and prolonged. There are no quick cuts, no looking away. You watch Anna endure beatings, starvation, and eventually being flayed alive. It is filmed with the same clinical attention you'd see in a medical documentary. Some people can't finish this movie. It is so gory and disturbing. I had to pause it for 5 minutes during one point. It almost made me puke. What separates Martyrs from regular torture corn is the philosophical angle. These aren't sadists getting off on pain. They genuinely believe they're conducting scientific research into what happens after death. The suffering has a purpose, which somehow makes it worse. The ending is infamous for being completely ambiguous. Anna whispers something about the afterlife to her captor. Then the movie cuts away, and we never find out what she said or if it meant anything at all, because she goes and blows her head off. That uncertainty haunts people long after the credits roll. Critics have either called it a profound meditation on faith and suffering or exploitative garbage disguised as art. Audiences walk out or sit in stunned silence. There is no middle ground with this movie. You either love it or you hate it. This is the kind of movie that changes how you think about horror as a genre on the whole. Whether that change is positive or negative depends entirely on you. So there are some of the scariest horror films out there today that I think you should be watching. Let me know what you thought about these movies down in the comments below, and if you're going to watch any of them, I'd be happy to know which ones you guys liked. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Also feel free to give this video some hype, as it helps my videos get pushed out to more new people. And if you want to watch another one of my videos, you can click the video on screen now.